Welcome to 5 questions, 5 answers with Kunle Adepoju. Once again this week, I'm so grateful that we are all here again this week. And thank you so much for following this very YouTube channel, Fog TV. Thank you for following 5 questions, 5 answers series with Kunle Adepoju. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your kind words. We really appreciate you for that. Thank you for your encouragement, and God bless you. This week, we are here again to tackle another 5 questions, providing answers to another 5 questions that are bothering your mind in filmmaking. And as we are here today, we'll be talking about another 5 random questions. And before we go into that, I really want to encourage you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel and press the notification button so that you can always be notified of every content that will be dropping on this very YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Let's go into the business of the day.
This was the difference between resolution and
Can you tell us what production picture composition is? It just production design for us to have film production? Can you tell us the camera what production design for does in filmmaking? What type of camera can you recommend?
All right, our first question for this week is, can a seamstress or a tailor be my costumier as a low-budget filmmaker? This person is asking, can a seamstress or tailor be my costumier as a low-budget filmmaker? If I will get this your question very right, I think I can reconstruct the question that you are a low-budget filmmaker. As a low-budget filmmaker, can a seamstress or a tailor be my costumier? Of course. Why not? A tailor or a seamstress can be your costumier as a low-budget filmmaker. If you are making a low-budget movie, you don't have enough budget for costuming of your production, so you can actually employ a seamstress or a tailor to be your costumier. He can design your costume for you. You can work on a very low economic budget on your costume with him. All you just need to know is that if the seamstress understands the concept of your movie, if the seamstress understands the concept of your costume design, then the person will be able to do it with a low cost that you might want. And if the person doesn't understand the concept of filmmaking, there are some tailors, there are some seamstresses that doesn't really understand anything about filmmaking. If the person doesn't understand, then you need to teach the person. You need to explain what you want to the person so that the person will have the idea of what you want to do as per costume of your film. For example, you might want to shoot a low-budget film and you need maybe a masquerade dress, a kuegu, and you don't have enough money to provide to get that. You can decide to take maybe a seamstress or a tailor who has pieces of clothes. The pieces of clothes they are not using again. Such a tailor can put all those pieces of clothes that they are not using again together to sew a masquerade dress for you, and a kuegu for you. A kuegu is full of different kind of clothes, so you can put those together and get that for you. If that seamstress is as crafty, as creative as that, you can bring out something good from such a tailor with your low budget idea of making movie. I hope you understand the answer to that question for now. Thank you for that question. Let's go to the second question for this week. The second question says, what is Foley in sound? Second question says, what is Foley in sound? How does it affect sound? What is Foley in sound and how does it affect sound? Foley is a particular type of sound that is used in complementing your movies. Foley is a particular type of sound that is used in complementing your movie. Now, in sound design, in film production, there's something we call sound design. That when you want to make a good movie, you have to design your sound. Just like you design the costume, just like you design the set, just like you design the props, you need to also design your sound. You design how your sound will look like. For example, maybe in a scene, somebody is entering the sitting room or somebody is entering into an office. It's a lady. The lady is walking into an office and dropping a file on the boss table. Is dropping a file on the boss table. In that very scene, it is possible for you to shoot that scene and have that scene without any Foley. But when you add Foley to that scene, you will make the scene more interesting than when it does not have Foley. What are the Foley we have in that scene? A lady steps into the boss office and then drop the file on the table. Obviously, for a good sound designer, there are two Foleys in that scene. Number one Foley is the full step of the lady walking into that office. Number two Foley is the sound of the file dropping on the table. So, if these two sound is added to that scene, it will add beauty to that scene, just more than when the scene is not having the sound of those footsteps and the sound of the paper or the file dropping on the table. So for that type of sound is referred to as Foley. Maybe somebody is shaking key in a scene. Maybe there is a pouring of water in a scene. Maybe there is a slap in a scene. They are Foleys. They are Foleys. Maybe there is gulping of water. Somebody is drinking water, and then you can hear the way the person is gulping the water in the scene. So it's a Foley. Maybe somebody is gasping for breath. You can hear the sound of the gasping for breath. So all of them are referred to as Foley in a sound. So that is sound, and it affects the sound design of a production for good. In fact, it helps your production to be enhanced. It enhances the sound of your movie production. So Foley is a very good thing in film. In fact, adding Foley to your movie will make your movie more interesting, will make your movie more professional than just an ordinary production. Thank you for that question. After this break, we'll be right back.
Can you share more light between resolution and
What is, can you tell us what production picture composition is? Is it just production design for film production? Can you tell us the camera what production design for those in filmmaking? What type of camera can you recommend?
Welcome back. Yes, I hope you are enjoying 5 questions, 5 answers with Kunle Adepoju. This week, we're going for the third question. Number 3 question says, I love to be a director. I love to be a director. What do I need to become one? I love to be a director. What do I need to become one? Of course, number one thing that you need is what you already have. You said you love to be a director. That love to be a director is a passion you have for being a director. That number one thing, you got to get passion for it. Directing is a very tasking job in filmmaking. It's a very tasking job in filmmaking. In fact, director is having everything on his head. So the number one thing you need to get is the passion to be a very good director. You need to get that passion. You need to get that diligence. You need to get that doggedness to become a fantastic director in filmmaking. Apart from that you have the passion to become that, then you need to learn how to be a director. You need to study. You need to study. You need to be trained. You need to be educated on how to be a good director. Directing is not just I have the gift and I just jump into it and I start doing it. In fact, understudying someone is not enough. understudying someone is not enough, because if you only understudy someone to be a director, you will just only direct like that person. You will only direct like, because you don't know the complete rudiment of directing. You only know the rudiment of how the person is directing his own movie. So you apart from you understudy someone, I'm still coming to understudy, you need to learn, you need to be trained, you need to be educated on how to be a director. There are quite a number of directing film schools all around. Quite a number of directing film schools all around. Our film school also train people on directing, MEFA. So there are quite a number of large film schools around where you can learn directing. Also, you need to also understudy someone. You need to understudy someone as well. While you're learning directing, you are also looking at someone's experience as a director. You're also someone like is mentoring you, someone like is looking after you to see how well you can actually achieve being a very good director. Then you practice. Lastly, you must practice. You cannot just say you are a director and you have never directed any film. You cannot just, if you are not called, if you are not hired to come and direct somebody's film, create a content and direct it. Create a content and direct it, and see how good you can direct, and see how best you can bring out something. Then from there you keep learning, from there you keep practicing, and you keep blending, and you become a professional director. These are the things you need to put together to become a director. It is not a day job, but I know when you start it and you keep growing in all those processes, you will become a fantastic director at the end of the day. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you so much for that very question. Number 4 question for this week is, I know this is not common. Someone says, I know this is not common. Can I make gospel comedy movies? That's a very fantastic question. Said, I know it is not common, but can I make a gospel comedy movies? Yes, you can make gospel comedy movie, as long as it is God that says you should go and make it. You are talking about gospel, so you know everything about gospel is attached to God. If it is your heart that is telling you to go and make comedy movies, you can make it anyhow. You can make it anyhow. You know, there are quite a large number of comedians in this entire world. A large number of comedians. They are not connected to God in any way. And if it is that you want to make a gospel comedy movie, then you need to connect your comedy to God very well. You need to know that what you are doing is actually not going against the will of God. Whatever comedy you want to do, you know that it is not actually going against the will of God. There are quite a large number of comedy that are sexual assaults today. So whatever comedy you want to make, whatever comedy movie you want to make must be a message that can be passed across to people. Must be a message that will bless people, not just a comedy. I don't want to mention that there are numbers of some comedy movie makers. There are there are some people who are gospel comedy movie makers today who make gospel comedy movies, and they don't lose track with God. So you can also make gospel comedy. You can also make gospel comedy movies without losing track with God. And all you just need to do is that whatever gospel comedy you want to make sure that God is actually leading you. Make sure that it's God that is leading you. That is when you will not lose track from making it a gospel comedy. So thank you for that question. After this short break, we'll be right back for the last question.
Can you share more light between resolution and
Please, can you tell us what production picture composition is? Is it production design for us to have film production? Can you tell us the camera what production design for does in filmmaking? What type of camera can you recommend?
Welcome back. Number 5 question for 5 questions, 5 answer program with Kunle Adepoju this week is, I keep wondering why foreign movies have a perfect sound and ours are still managing to be better. What factor is responsible for this? Now, The question again said, I keep wondering why foreign movies have a perfect sound and ours are still managing to be better. What factor is responsible for this? Now, this is a very good question. I guess this person has watched several movies, several local movies. Maybe this person is in Nigeria, I don't know. Maybe the person is not in Nigeria, I don't know. But maybe he has been watching some of but this question is actually peculiar to Nigerians. So maybe this person has watched several local movies and he realized that there is problem with sound in the movies. But he realized that many times many times the foreign movies, they have better and perfect sound. So he is asking what factor is responsible for this. Yes. I've said before in one of the answers to the questions that have been asked before that about Foley, I said there is what we call sound design. In most of our Nigerian movies, there are no sound designs. People don't design sound for that movie. They just believe that when you just come to location, record sound, and go and battle with it at the editing bench. No, not only that. Before you even shoot your movie, you should have designed how you want the sound of your movie to look like. You should have designed it. You should have known how many sound do you need to make this movie a good movie. You will have known whether you need Foley sound or not. You will have known whether you need incidentals. You will have known whether you need instrumentals. You will have known how much of effective dialogue do you need to actually achieve your good sound for the movie. And of course, you can be on location and you have inches with your sound, but of course you can take your sound to sound factory, to post-production factory, to actually blend your sound, to work on the equalization of your sound. It's not just that you recorded on location and that is the sound you now print on your final project. You can as well work on the sound. You can manipulate the sound. You can go into sound studio and fine-tune your sound and bring out quality sound from whatever you have recorded on location. In fact, garbaging in sound, garbaging out sound might not really give us the best of sound. When you have take your sound the way you take your video. Just take your sound the way you take your video. You know, the way you take your video is that you recorded on location and you bring it to editing bench and you edit it and you get what you want out of all the footages that you have been recorded on location. If you can take your sound like that too, that you bring your sound from the location or you bring your sound from wherever you have brought it, take it to the post-production stage, fine-tune it, edit it, adjust it, work on it the way you have worked on your videos. It will also help to have a better sound for your movie. I hope you have enjoyed today's 5 question, 5 answer series with Kunle Adepoju. Next week we'll be coming on to you again with another 5 questions and another 5 answers to solve all the puzzles of filmmaking in this very program.
This was the difference between resolution and
Please, can you tell us what production picture composition is? Is it production design for us to have? Can you tell us what production design for does in filmmaking? What type of camera can you recommend?